Commission, I've asked Michael J. to lead us in the prayer and Savannah to lead us in the pledge. Michael J.
Heavenly Father, please bless us today and bless us at all times in this wonderful city, to bless our residents, to bless the people that work here, that we may prosper and do well, and that we as a city council represent our people in this community to our very best abilities. Father, we pray these things in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. Public comment. We don't have anything on public comment. We approve the minutes of the October 20th and the November 3rd meetings.
I'll make a motion to approve the October 20th minutes.
You got a motion to approve the minutes for October 20th and November 3rd.
Nope, that's not.
I can't.
I move we approve the minutes from November 3rd meeting.
I can't do November 3rd because I wasn't present.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're approving which one, Tom?
October 20th.
You're doing October 20th.
Yes, sir.
Got a motion from Tom to approve the October 20th minutes. Got a second?
Second.
Second from Richard. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All same sign. Motion carried. Need a motion to approve the November 3rd minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes of the November 3rd meeting of 2025.
Since the other two weren't here, I'll second that. Y'all can vote or not vote. Got a motion from Richard and a second from me to approve the November 3rd minutes. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. What happened to the October 20th minutes printed so small?
Because it had the layout format. We fixed it for the original copy.
Okay. It's a one-time thing, huh?
Yes.
I don't know if y'all were
Sorry.
testing us or what.
Or not.
Financial report. Y'all got a copy of that. It's all underneath all this other stuff. Okay. Sales taxes, that was good.
Ad valorem tax will be rolling in soon.
Hmm?
Ad valorem tax will be rolling in soon.
Paid mine.
Thanks, Richard.
Is that one over $387,000? Okay. Anybody have any questions about the financial report? Thank you for having that done. Who's in charge of putting these together?
Flip them around the other way.
Yes.
Okay.
Looks like you're gonna put it in a binder.
I know.
All right. Anybody have any questions? Somebody needs to ask Leslie something, just keep her busy. Yeah, you short timer, we're trying to keep you busy. The Board of City Commissioners may discuss and take action on the following agenda items. Item number 1, the discussion and consideration of removal of trees from the outer side of the courthouse square within the city right of way. Anybody something there?
No.
Okay, this is a discussion that's been going on, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 years, maybe longer than that, from when did we pull the trees out in front of the Judge Bailey?
Ron was still
over
here,
there.
I think.
Huh?
I think Ron was still here at the time.
I think, yeah, Ron was still here.
Yes,
Yeah. That's how long this discussion's been going on.
It died.
What's happening here,
Same as ours.
Gary Ford has asked to remove the tree in front of the Lyric. It blocks his, and I agree with him, by the way, just because it blocks the downtown. And with this discussion on your agenda item is for us to talk about all the trees around the square. And I think we need to have more discussions, but taking the tree out in front of the Lyric, and they will do that at their own expense, it says to this, but it would open up that side of the street completely and let people see what that looks like. I think it will open it up, and we've talked about being like Granbury or open up our downtown and so on and so forth. The trees cause all kinds of problems, breaking. That's why we took the ones out in front of the Judge Bailey building over there, because of the sidewalks were so damaged, and you can see where they continue to tear things up. If you'll go and look around the square on that side, you can't really tell what the businesses are. Did y'all take any pictures that show?
Yeah, keep going, Roman. Keep
show
going.
you what we're talking about.
Keep going.
Like,
So
that was one. That was one that's right there.
Well, yeah, but that was at the library, and I did include that right there since we just redid the sidewalks of the library. That tree has buckled the sidewalk that was not replaced, and so we poured new sidewalk, and only time will tell what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Go back to the very beginning. There was a.
Oops. Sorry.
It's the first one. It's right after that, I think. Right there. There's what you're talking about, Mayor.
Oh, you can't see it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You have that all around our square. You can't tell what's there. You know, those of us who live here a long time know what the buildings are, but somebody here looking for something, you got to get there to see what you're trying to find. So I think we need to have this discussion with all of our downtown partners. Send a letter, what we're thinking about and doing, and see if anybody's got any major heartburn at their particular business. I know when we had this discussion several years ago, a large part of the people were in favor of removing trees and cleaning that up and getting them out of there.
But correct me if I'm wrong, at the Judge Scott Bailey, the tree was growing into the basement, correct?
That's right. It was
Okay.
damaging the building itself underground. Yes, it was.
Okay.
And I don't know if any of these structures have a basement in them that would be a problem. But anyway, that's the discussion. And besides the sidewalk, I believe it would open up downtown. I believe it would give us a wide view. That takes care of all those type of issues, obviously. You're still going to have trees on the other side. This is not trees on the courthouse side. This is the interior part. We're not talking about those trees at all. These are all the trees around the outside part of the courthouse, of the square.
I planted them all.
Huh?
I planted them all.
You planted them all?
Yeah.
They're
Jim
that
Mullen
old.
dug the hole, and I planted them.
When you were a little boy or what?
No, I was not a little boy.
But anyway, that's the discussion. That's what this is about. And the Lyric would, Gary has brought this up several times, and they are willing to do it at their own expense. They just want to get it out of there and get rid of it. And that's what this is about. Anybody have any questions about that? Or
Well, I think before we can make entertain this, we need to have a conversation with the greater people, like you said, down on the square.
with who?
With the greater community down on the square about what we're going to do about this. My concern is, I understand they're destructive and all that, but they still provide some sort of shade, some sort of life to that area. And we've just gone through and we didn't do it, but Atmos went through and whacked all of the trees in town and just destroyed how beautiful those trees were. I get it, had to happen for the power lines, and now we're going to start pulling trees out around the square. And I just don't think it's a good optics when we're trying to promote beautification and how we're going to revamp our city and do some of these other things we've talked about. I think it needs to be part of a greater plan if we're going to move forward with something like that.
Well, I don't disagree. And that the Lyric thing, I think, is a separate deal. We need to, and included in that, if you want to do it that way, that's fine. But this Lyric deal has been going on for quite a while, and it's not a new discussion. But I do agree with the partners. But I think in the end result will be a prettier downtown than what we have today.
Yeah.
Trees do not add to the beauty of downtown. You got them on the square, on the inside part, and they would still be there, but they don't, they really, I think, hinder our downtown and what they're trying to do. I don't disagree with you, Tom, it's just, how do we get there and get this done, so,
Well, the sidewalk destruction is concerning because people, I know Carolyn Bolt years ago fell on one of the sidewalks that the tree had torn up and just tore her knees up. Good time. I mean, it's dangerous.
Okay, so if we pull the trees out, is there a plan to tear up and replace all that sidewalk as part of this whole plan?
As part of this plan, no, but if we were to do a downtown plan, further in your packet, there's a comprehensive plan for y'all to vote on. And at that point, maybe that's something that you do it a part of.
two of the streets fall into the highway department, do they not? That's why they fixed the Judge Bailey.
Yes, but TxDOT did tell us that they would not fix the sidewalks if the trees were there. That would be
If
up
the
to,
tree do them,
if the tree is there, they're not gonna fix the sidewalks, that's up to the city.
if the tree's not there, then they'll fix it.
They said it was on the table if the tree was not there.
Okay.
Part of the discussion might be, because I do agree that greenery around the area is, is appealing, but maybe find a way to have a raised flower bed, certain other types of trees that are not as invasive as these are, so you can kind of kill two birds with one stone, maybe make a whole project out of it.
So tonight, the request was not for all the trees, just to clarify that.
Yeah.
But it was a topic of conversation.
Is there something urgent with the Lyric one that we have to make a decision tonight, or can it be part of an overall plan that gets formed that addresses the greater?
I think it can be part of an overall plan. I think that's really what, the Lyric thing would be nice to get it down and be done with it, but I think it needs to, and I've told Gary this already, when he brought this up probably 2 years ago. We need to know what the rest of the downtown people are saying. What do they see? And that's, I still think that needs to be there. This is specific to the Lyric, but we can pull this off and make it a downtown project and move forward. Get the city to come up with a plan, letters to those people. Here's what we're doing, have a meeting that's intended for that purpose. We're here to talk about getting rid of the trees downtown. What's your 2 cents worth?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with Tom. I think we need to talk to the people on that square and get the buy-in. I think all of us want to see the square beautiful and stand out. And that's where I'd like to see it go.
It has been the sidewalks, it's killed the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
We had one in front of the Perry building over there, and it suddenly died, I don't know.
But there's varieties of trees that are not so invasive, they don't kill the sidewalks, gross.
Yeah, I would.
Those were about that big around when we planted.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a bad idea if that's kind of what they want to do. I mean, I would say first, talk with the people that are involved first off, and see what their thoughts are.
Yeah.
And then from there, then we can go and research different types of flowers, because I know there's probably some others here at City Hall that are better at horticulture than I am, but can give us some ideas of something that would work for our climate, that are not as invasive into the concrete, and if they can be done either themselves, held within a concrete raised bed, or if a type of shrub or flower that would be more hardy might work as well. It's just kind of, this is a good starting point.
Yes.
To spur something on that plan.
I mean, we'll be surprised at the different ideas that come up about it. It might not be trees, it might be little planters with benches or something where people have a place to sit.
And I know that-
shrub or shade or shrubs.
And then there was also a talk of somebody here at City Hall had seen another town that had done these wrought iron trees. They were sculptures. And so that way, you don't have to worry about the sidewalks getting torn up.
Well, there you go. You partner with the Lyric and develop an art thing.
And
It's an art installation.
That and maybe also work with the high school, with some of the guys welding and stuff over there. They might be able to do a project for one or two. There's all different ideas that's come out. So.
Kathy Ray knows some wild stuff, I remember
Yeah.
that.
I'm not,
But like
is the tree blocking their marquee thing too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
that's the problem.
just 'cause of
That's
the
my
rate.
deal. You can't see, you
Right.
look at the pictures, you have to drive around the square, you can't see what anything is.
Can't see
I
the
didn't like it
sidewalk.
when I had the store on this side because you couldn't see the store.
but
I think we had that discussion when Ron Duncan was here with you.
But with the other ideas of the different types of flowers, we can find ones that aren't gonna, turn into sequoias in the.
You can't
around-
see it too. I mean, I
Oh,
know
yeah, I know that. And see, that
Sequoias.
next one was me.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
you couldn't see the sign. You spend money on putting a sign up
So
there.
Larry, you ready for a
Nobody see
motion?
I'm ready for a motion.
So I'd like to make a motion that we develop a plan with collaboration with the businesses on the square that addresses the trees and more of a long-term beautification and opening them up of that area.
I'll second it.
A motion from Tom, a second from Richard to make this part of a project for downtown and to move forward with that. And that's what this actually said, discuss consideration removal of trees from the outer side of the courthouse square within the city limits. And we'll do that in city right away and make that motion where the city is doing that, and you've done that, and that's in place. So we have a motion on the table and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 2, discussion and consideration of presentation and acceptance of the fiscal year ending 9/24 audit. Welcome. Would you like a podium to stand behind?
No, this is fine. If
Okay,
it's
I didn't know if you need to lay your book out. I was like, what about a podium?
Yes.
There you go.
It's
right there.
okay, I
It's right there.
promise.
Oh,
Before we start, I want to thank you. Thank you for letting me be your auditor. Thank you. And I've really appreciated being
you
able
could have
to.
come earlier. We wouldn't have minded.
I know, I'm sorry. The audit for 2025 has to be done by March 31st. So Leslie and I have been
Of
talking
what year?
about that, of 2026.
I just want to
Has to be
get that
done.
nailed down.
Has to be done. Yes, this year, you guys had a single audit. In 2025, you will have another single audit. So that means you spent in 2024, the threshold was $750,000, but you guys spent $1,074,000 of federal monies. So there's a little bit more that we have to go into. So instead of 2 letters, you have 3 letters. The first is the independent auditor's report, and that is on page 1. And that letter we'll go over very quickly. But before I start going over them, let me tell you a story about one of the very first audits I presented to a city. I presented for 40 minutes, and the person that was with me when we left, because I was so excited about what I had to say. And the person that was with me when we left, she said, "Don't ever do that again." So I have listened to her, and I've kept it short and sweet. But so on page 1, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
So on page 1, what this says is, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, the business type activities, the discretely presented component unit in each major fund, and all the aggregate remaining fund information of the city of Eastland as of September 30th, 2024. So the next one is what's called the gas letter, and that is government accounting standards requires this from us. And this is on page, let me find the page. It is right after the supplementary information. On page 44, it's not marked. It's right for page 45, which is marked. There's 2 parts of this. The first is internal control over financial reporting, and then this discusses deficiencies and material weaknesses. And during my audit, I did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that I consider to be material weaknesses. And it also, the next paragraph discusses compliance with laws. And at the very last sentence, the results of my test
What
is
page are you on?
page 44 still. The very last sentence under that compliance and other matters is the results of my test disclose no instances of non-compliance or other matters that are required to be reported. The last letter is a single audit letter, and then this is a communication for the feds. And this is on page 49. And this has an opinion for each federal award that was considered a major program. You had 3 federal awards, but only 2 were considered to be major programs. You have $56,000 that you received from FEMA for fire department. And that was a minor program, so that wasn't, we didn't have to apply the audit techniques that we did for the other 2 programs. In our opinion, that's under the opinion part, the City of Eastland complied in all material respects with the compliance requirements referred to above that could have a direct and material effect on each major federal programs for the year ended September 30th. So those are the 3 letters, and we will look at the financial statements. First, for the general fund, which is on page 14, and this is the income statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. For 2024, you had total revenues of $4.1 million. You had total expenditures of $3.8 million for a net profit of $295,000. So if you'll turn to the page before that, 2 pages before that, page 12, this is your balance sheet, and you will notice that for the general fund, there are not included any debt or fixed assets. So your general fund is a pretty short, so it shows your short-term resources, what will be used for the next year. So you have a good fund balance of $2.8 million and a small accounts payable. As you can see, the $2.8 million is pretty liquid because you have $852,000 in cash, $1.8 million in investments. So that is pretty much your fund balance. On your utility fund, that is on page 17, the income statement. On your income statement, you had $4 million, 4.4 in revenues, 3.9 in expenses for a net profit of $532,000. You also had non-operating revenues and expenses. So you had about $1 million that you received in grant funds and $195,000 in interest expense that you paid out with your debt. So that left you with a change in net position of $1.3 million. That added to your fund balance gives you a fund balance of $6.9 million. However, if you will turn to page 16, at the very bottom, you will see the net position of 4.992 and 1.906. So the unrestricted part is the only part that's liquid. The 4.992 is invested in your system. So that system, if you look up in the non-current assets, that system is about $23 million with about $9 million in accumulated depreciation, which shows that your system is about 40 to 50% used up. That just kind of gives you a benchmark
Where did you see the $23 million?
The 7.6 million under non-current assets for your construction and infrastructure of $15.7 million. Together, that's about $23 million with a $9.5 million in accumulated depreciation. There's more information on that further along in the financial statements. It shows the breakdown a little bit more. But one more thing I wanted you to look at is on page 18. 18 is your cash flow statement for the utility fund. We don't do, that's not done for the general fund. So because the general fund doesn't have operating revenues. So, and matching operating expenses. So the operating activities, the net cash that you brought into the city from operating activities was $1.1 million. So you're not on a cash basis, the utility fund made money. And then it shows how the money went out. You had 1.8 million in investments in debt that left the building. But you still had a net increase in cash of $400,000 in your utility fund. So it was a good year for Eastland with good management and good record keeping. And that basically concludes my presentation. Now what about this?
It wasn't there long enough.
Oh, I'm sorry. I could go on a lot longer. I have.
You'd be happy to.
Yes.
Just for I gotta find my question again.
Okay.
On page 7, which you didn't talk about, you did talk about page 14. On page 7, we have taxes, revenue, like total revenues on page 7.
Yes.
And page 14, total revenues. Are those not the same two numbers?
They are not. They are for the utility fund, but they are not for the general fund. What happens on this page, and let me show you the.
On which page? Which page? 7 or 14?
7.
Okay.
7 is a summary of. Let's look at that for just a second, and we'll go into that. You know what? And these page numbers. This okay. Hold on. Page 11, right after page 10.
Wait a minute, I didn't go to page 11.
It's not numbered right. I'm gonna reprint these.
Page 11
numbers.
is there. Page number's in a funny place.
Well, that's because they were supposed to be on and we have somebody new in the office. So I'll have these reprinted.
We can find it. It's okay, we can find it.
Okay, this, if you will hold your fingers here and then turn real quick, and I'll just go over this a little bit. Okay, to page 14. Hold your fingers on 14 and then look on page 11. Okay, you'll look under general administrative, $2.1 million, and on page 14 it's $1.2 million. Okay? The difference in those figures, there are two statements in the front before you get the basic financial statements. These are called GASB 34 statements. And what this does, it leaves the utility fund alone. But what it does, it puts the general fund in the same look as a business and the same way of the utility fund. So it adds in, it adds depreciation as an expense. So your expenses are going to be higher for depreciation of your general fund assets. And it also includes debt. So you've got fixed assets with your, in your general fund balance sheet, which is on the page right before that. And you have the income parts that change that over, which are depreciation expense. You take out your capital purchases, you add in your debt, you just do a whole bunch of those kind of gyrations. And that it makes the general fund look more like a business. That was required by GASB 34, and I think that was back I don't know, 30 years ago now. So these two statements are not very often talked about, because they're pretty meaningless for
Well, I'm sorry I
operations.
said anything.
All
Well,
right.
so what is page 7? What is that particular?
Page 7 is this year's and last year's of the, it is a comparison between the 2 years of the income statements that are changed over by GASB 34.
So you do that so you have a one-to-one comparison from previous years.
So you can look at the general fund kind of in a business way. Not that anybody does. The general fund's different.
All right.
More questions?
Thank the Lord, no. No, I'm good, that's good. I just trying to understand the different sets of numbers.
Yes,
So now we have 3 sets of books instead of just 2.
exactly.
Okay. You got that?
Does that scare you so bad?
It's just numbers.
Okay.
You may have any more questions? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you in March of 2026.
Before then.
Yes.
Before then?
Before then.
Put her on the agenda.
February 28th.
Thank you. Be careful going home. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Caroline, did you get everything you needed from
I'm
us?
s-
You got
Yes, I
everything?
did.
Okay.
Did I get the management rep letter?
Oh,
You know, you can send it to me.
just through email?
Emails.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Sam.
Savannah, does that not need
Yes.
Oh, we need a motion to accept the, we need a motion to accept the audit for 2024.
I move to accept the audit for 2024.
I'll second.
A motion from Richard and a second from Michael J. to accept the audit for 2024. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 3, discussion consideration of second reading of ordinance 25-921, an ordinance of the city of Eastland, Texas, changing the zoning use designation of property described as Southwest 50100 Track 1, Block D2, original town of Eastland, city of Eastland, Eastland County, Texas, from a local business district C1 to single family residence SF, amending the zoning district map for the city of Eastland and reflecting such change and adopting the zoning district map so amended.
Can you repeat that there?
Can you play that back? Okay, y'all, everybody know what this is? Do you remember what this is?
Just in case anybody doesn't remember, this is the old Res Care building across from the funeral home. Clint Coffey purchased it, and he would like to turn it into residential space. And this is doing the zone change to allow for that.
Good, good. I make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 25-921.
I'll second.
A motion from Michael J. and a second from Tom to approve ordinance, second reading of ordinance 25-921. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 4, I believe is related to this one.
Yes, sir.
Is discussion and consideration of second reading of ordinance 25-922, an ordinance of the city of Eastland, Texas, providing for a specific use permit for duplexes in a single-family residence district SF on property described as Southwest 5x100 Track 1 Block D2, original town of Eastland, city of Eastland, Eastland County, Texas. And this is that same piece of property making it a duplex.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 25-922.
Second.
Motion from Tom and second from Richard to approve ordinance, second reading of ordinance 25-922. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 5, discussion and consideration of second reading of ordinance 25-923, an ordinance of the city of Eastland, Texas, amending chapter 9 nuisances, article 5, sex offenders of the Eastern Code of Ordinances to increase the restriction of residence of sex offender to 2,000 feet from places children commonly gather providing a penalty, providing a repealing clause, severability clauses, and providing an effective date.
I'll make a motion to approve second reading of ordinance 25-923.
I'll second that.
Second, motion from Tom and a second from Richard to approve second reading of ordinance 25-923. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 6, discussion and consideration of second reading of ordinance 25-924, an ordinance of the City of Eastland, Texas, amending chapter 17, traffic and motor vehicles of the City of Eastland Code of Ordinance to adopt an article 8, golf carts, to allow the limited operation of golf carts within the city, establishing regulations for such operation, requiring a permit, providing a penalty, and providing for repealing and severability clauses, and providing an effective date. Everybody know what this is?
Yep. I make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 25-924.
A motion from Richard to approve second reading of ordinance 25-924.
I'll second.
Second from Tom. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 7, discussion and consideration to accept the quote for restoration of the big slide at the swimming pool. Doug. Is that what we named? Oh, Doug Key. I thought we named the slide.
We should name the slide Doug.
We're going to shortly.
Big Doug!
In your pack, or not in your packet, outside of your packet, you should have 2 extras. There's a water slide inspection report from TML, and then there's a safe slide restoration safety inspection report. It was extras. Oh, you already put it in there. Good.
The water slide?
And yes, and then there's one that looks like this.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we put a jump at the end of it?
Don't know if that would be in compliance, but all right.
Put a trap door. Put a trap door at the top of it, so it's a drop.
Just launch them.
So I think Doug wants to take a minute. He's typed up a letter. Mayor, if you may read the letter. And then it kind of goes along with the mission statement that Doug has prepared, dealing with the pool, and then the quote is to be discussed.
This is a letter that he wrote,
Yes, sir.
okay? You have a copy of it, don't you?
Of course I do.
Read it.
Thanks, Commissioners. Thank you, Savannah. Thank you, Mayor. Believe it or not, there's been studies over the years written about why city swimming pools fail. And I want to just address this very briefly. City swimming pools are hard to keep alive primarily due to funding issues, staffing challenges such as a shortage of lifeguards. The complex and costly maintenance of pool systems also contributes to the difficulty, as problems can escalate and require extensive and expensive repairs. City swimming pools are often among the first areas to have their budget cuts when cities face the financial strain. This leads to a lack of investment in maintenance repairs, especially when the swimming pool is 20 years old. There is also a national shortage of lifeguards, partly because summer jobs are less attractive to high school and college students compared to other options. But I implore you that this is not the case with the City of Eastland. Our lifeguard selection pool is both active and responsive. As of today, November the 17th, we already have a pool of 19 applications on file and only need 5 more estimated to complete our lifeguard selection process of 2026. We're also in the process of certifying and recertifying all lifeguard positions for next summer, which is months ahead of schedule. Normally this is not done until April or May or even June, right before the pool opens, so we're already months ahead of that. Other factors that lead to pool closures include the costly repairs mentioned above and the 20 years of neglect suffered by our city pools. This neglect leaves a great pool in disrepair and only makes them more expensive to operate in the long run. City swimming pools are great because they provide a safe, accessible, low-cost way for people of all ages to cool off, exercise, and socialize. Our city pool serves as a community hub for families and friends, offers a way to learn vital water safety skills, and provides both physical and mental health benefits by getting people involved in a refreshing environment. And to tie all that together, I put together a mission statement. And you'd probably ask why I want a mission statement for our pool. It's because I want to enlarge this and print it and have it on public record at the pool when you come in the slide. It'll be on one of our little sandwich boards. And I think it's just real important just to tell you what we do as a pool. The goal of the city swimming pool is to provide an affordable and family-oriented aquatic experience that strengthens community ties and provides lasting memories by offering a safe, clean, and enjoyable environment for our residents, their families, and their friends. Safety first, of course. The city pool is committed to providing a secure and well-maintained environment, including well-trained lifeguards. We're community focused. The pool is a valuable and accessible resource to service the needs of all local residents. From a health and wellness point of view, it promotes physical fitness, water safety, and the benefits of aquatic exercise for all ages. Education, school development. The city pool provides water quality instruction, swim lessons, and training to teach essential water skills and promote confidence to residents of all ages. From a recreation and enjoyment point of view, as the goal of the city pool is to provide a fun and welcoming place for leisure and enjoyment. And then accessibility. The city pool is committed to serving people of all ages, abilities, and background. And then here's one I think that is really important from my point of view, from sustainability and responsibility. The city pool provides a responsible facility management and fiscal responsibility to ensure the long-term viability of the pool.
Good.
Good.
So with that, Doug had
How
spoke.
much money do you need?
Doug had spoke several months back in regards to the slide was going to need some maintenance, and there's been nothing done with the slide. The slide's been there for 20 years old. Happy birthday to the slide. And it shows this. There you have a report in front of you. Two separate reports. One that TML does, and one that TML required the city to do as of this year.
Are they both reports in this? Or is there another?
There's two. One says TML and one says Safe Slide Restoration. There you go. We were required to have an engineer come out and do a safety inspection of the slide itself, and then TML followed up behind the safety inspector on separate days and gave their reports. So if you will look at that, there are several things that are mentioned in here. In the Safe Slide Restoration and the TML that are the same, that there are issues that we're gonna have to address, and one of those being the slide columns, and the stairs going up to the slide. Those are probably the three main things. If you wanna start with the Safe Slide Restoration, this one. Yeah. There's photos in there, and it goes through and it shows with each photo like minor chip in the start tub above the jet. There's chips in the seams of the pool, various throughout those. Non-raised spider cracks near seams, that's just the age of the pool showing with the sun. Fiberglass. Exterior slide is sun faded. That starts to have issues. Minor corrosion on slide hardware. Exterior slide is sun faded. Then you get to the columns. Column hardware should be torqued to where at least two threads are showing above the nuts. Indication of weld failing. Paint is failing on the structure brace. Areas of paint failure around structure brace. Some of these are minor. Fiber grate decking non-slip is failing and bare fiberglass is showing. In order to repair that this year, Doug had an idea of taking some paint and painting over those to allow those to get us by where we were approved through TML. Page 10 out of 14 shows the columns, the issues with the columns. And what those columns are showing us with corrosion, rust, some cracking, and so these issues are going to have to be addressed. When the slide was installed 20 years ago, you'll notice, Roma, can you go through some of these pictures? So this is some of the corrosion. Next, there's some of the rebar that's showing. Next, cracking. Next, what's that? Is that it? Oh no, okay. Right here, this picture. The slide was not, I don't know, I wasn't here 20 years ago, so I don't know if the column was poured in the wrong spot, obviously. So those are some of the issues that we're looking at that they're gonna have to address because it's pointed out in our reports.
Basically what she's saying, that well should be sitting in the middle of that
Yeah.
column.
Yeah.
And every column out there is like this.
It's all off-centered. This is just the worst one.
Every column is like
Yes.
Yeah, I can see.
There's none that are in the center where that hole should be, or where that hole is. They're all offset, and in that case, that's only 2 inches from the outside of that diameter of that.
On the
Are
other
they,
side.
are they all offset in the same direction? Like
It just looks like somebody didn't measure and, measure twice and cut once.
No, they're
In this
not.
case, it should have been measured twice and pour once.
It's not like the slide is slipped or something?
Oh, no, no.
It is-
Not
it
at
is
all.
not. Wow.
But could you go back to that one that shows all the rust and corrosion? One more. That one there is actually probably anywhere from 2 to 4 feet in the ground, deep, that's gonna have to be brought out. So this company's gonna have to bring in a crane just to support the structure of the pool. And this can be done after the slide is done. This doesn't have to be done,
The structure of the pool?
Structure of the slide.
the structure of the slide. These are 2 independent projects that are gonna be completely separate from each other. We're just trying to get on work schedules while the weather's fairly nice and while the slide company is coming into Texas to do other jobs. Because, believe it or not, we're graded just like Six Flags is. We're looking for that same amusement ride sticker that we've gotta have on our pool, and right now we can't get it.
For
So
TDO,
Who did this inspection?
TMO.
totally independent.
Yeah, we had to go find our own slide.
How do the two
Engineer.
documents compare?
They're
About the same
yeah,
thing?
Yeah.
The train wreck?
Well, I mean, it just needs work.
Well, to further add to everything that you're reading, the slide has had 0 preventive maintenance done to it over the years, other than the lifeguard crew. We wax it every Thursday. That's all it gets. It gets a topical application of wax just to make it slippery and more fun for the kids and parents and things like that. It's never been refinished. It's never had any maintenance done on it. This slide project will extend the life of the slide maybe 5 years, but it should have been done at least 3 times in its lifetime already. We've done 0.
Periodically, as you start to see, the sun fading, they're saying that, it's recommended that you have it repainted to preserve it. The chipping should have been resurfaced and coated, because if not, you're just breaking it down.
And we did price a brand new slide, and that would be about $250,000 with a 90-day lead time from China to get it on a boat over here, plus a 60% tariff.
So now, you're gonna spend $100,000 repairing this.
Correct.
Is that the price?
That's for the slide,
That's
and
just
that
the
does
slide.
not include the columns. The columns, we are waiting on a quote.
Okay, because that's one of my questions, is these columns, what is the fix for that column issue?
That column will have to be, first of all, the slide will have to be supported by a crane or some instrument to keep it level and steady. Then they'll have to come in and dig these out, because they're in the ground anywhere from a foot, and we think the main one's probably 4 feet under concrete. So they'll have to cut everything out and just start from scratch.
Report.
Okay.
Have we considered getting rid of the slide and doing something different at a cheaper cost?
No.
No, because that's the cornerstone of our pool, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it really is. When we put it in, I remember we did this. That thing was good.
If anything, I'd go with a bigger, better slide, to be honest with you.
Well, that's what I was.
But I'm just saying, now you're gonna get, to replace that, almost status quo, we're at $300,000. And that's with a 90-day lead time or 6-month lead time from China on a boat. And so that would shut us down for the season.
Is that not counting the China and everything?
No, he said $300,000.
Oh,
Plus a 60% tariff. So once it gets on the boat, you completely lose track of shipping and transportation, so.
But my question is there nothing else to do? Can we replace this at a cheaper cost with a different type of slide?
Not that I'm
Not
aware
a
of.
cheaper call.
I don't think anything's gonna be cheaper than what we were quoted to repair it.
How much again?
99,000.
Well, that's to repair.
Oh, the slide.
300, 250 for the equivalent slide.
Yeah.
Plus a 60% tariff, plus a 6-month lead time once it leaves China to get here. So you'd wipe out the 2026 swimming season. Cause this won't get us our sticker that we need this year. And if you red flag the slide, you might as well shut the pool down. Because we did it 2 weeks last year when the pump went out and our attendance dropped dramatically. We're the only pool in Eastland County, and we're the only pool from Breckenridge to Graham that has a slide. And we're the only family-oriented pool. Those pools send recommendations for families to come over here to us. And just to tell you how widespread this is, and for like beds on head or beds on pillows and things like that, we had a family from Idaho that Googled pools, and Eastland popped up, and a family of 8 on their way from South Texas back to Idaho stopped and spent an afternoon with us. Chance luck, whatever you want to call it.
Good. I don't know if I should ask this in a public meeting, but you said we're the only family-oriented pool.
That is correct.
What are those other pools?
Breckenridge is a swimming and diving pool. They have a slide that it literally maybe is about 5 or 10 feet long.
Is it a competition type pool or?
Well, it's 13 feet 9 inches deep, and they tell you cannot bring in floats, beach balls, floaties for your kids, or anything. They actually tell them to come to us because we're a family-oriented pool.
Okay.
It's an athletic pool.
Yeah.
So, right now, what we need to do is approve the restoration of the slide, and we'll be getting another request to fix the filter.
Yes, because I'm assuming that that's not gonna come in any less than $25,000.
Correct.
Yeah. When do we expect that estimate in?
That estimate should have been the day that the guy had an unexpected funeral out of town. And the pool company, like I said, right now, their work schedule they're already pushing us back to February, early March with a 2-week project turnaround time.
So we can't wait for the column estimate to make
No.
this.
No. If they were one and the same, I could say yes, but since it's a totally different company, totally different bid process,
You have to do one before you can do the other?
nope.
This will come out of it from it.
I move that we approve the repair of the slide.
I'll second it.
Got a motion from Richard and a second from Tom to approve the repair of the big slide swimming pool. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, guys.
Doug.
Go take care of little Dougie, or big Dougie, I guess. All right, number 8, discuss consideration of the draft proposal for the future ordinance in tiny homes.
In your packet, you have a draft proposal. This is not, the ordinance itself. These are the rules that we would put into the ordinance. Tony worked on creating this up for you to go through and review so that we can discuss tonight. This also has an appendix Q attached that would be referenced for tiny homes. If you remember, Brian Jackson mentioned that too in his discussion. And so here we are with our markups, and I would open the floor, I guess, with Tony, or if you want to ask questions, I don't know how you want to do it.
What is our reason for printing things so small?
The printer.
Y'all just, huh?
It's the printer, I promise. We
You
fight
talking
with
about
the
this
printer every day.
I'm talking about this thing as a cube.
Okay, so, he,
No.
give me,
I'm sorry.
okay, so he printed it off like this. I took and printed it off like that.
She
But
found
it's the printer.
an online
I
version.
found an online version and printed it off like that.
It's the printer. Regardless if you got it offline or not, it's the printer.
I copied.
He copied, I printed. It's on me for printing it that small.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I got pretty tickled. I mean, I tried to read this thing. I got pretty tickled. The height requirements on a tiny home. The
The
minimum.
minimums.
Yeah, I got pretty tickled with that.
It's basically a jail cell.
Okay, so that, I don't care about, I mean, that's, somebody wants to buy and live in something with a 6-foot ceiling, I don't care. The discussion and what we've had about where you put these, and that's what this is. So hopefully you've read it and you've got whatever questions you might have. If you hadn't read it, you got questions, ask those. I think this is something that's happening all over. Brian Jackson stopped by, we were playing pickleball, he stopped by and we visited for a minute. He said Rangers adopting this, and Cisco is probably adopting something like this. That's all taking place at the same time frame as it's becoming a popular subject. What questions do you have?
Where are these tiny homes gonna be placed?
Okay, so if you would go over to the second page and starting at number 8, what I did was I pulled from, real heavily from, I pulled them from a bunch of different towns, but Hudson, Texas is about our size, and theirs was very comprehensive. It had a lot of things spelled out so there wasn't any question about, oh, this work or this work. And I used that and I as kind of a base, and I pulled from our code book with what we already have adopted and kind of used the two so we weren't completely reinventing the wheel. So in the first, number 8, we're going to talk about a tiny home as the primary structure on a lot. So let's say that you have an empty lot here in town and you want to have one that you're going to live in yourself. Or that's going to be the main one on the property that you're going to rent out.
Be clarified when you say you've got an empty lot here in town. Where does that empty lot have to be?
Well, that's what I was about to. That was going to be the next thing I said. Is if you read in there as a primary structure, we would allow it outright in the ag open space district and in the manufactured home district, because manufactured home is something already kind of akin to this. And then with ag open, these are the large areas that are outside of the main urban areas. And so you're going to have a lot more space to play with. Your neighbors aren't right up on top of you. And so we thought about doing that as an outright allowed use. In the single family zone district, we were talking about it, and we think that maybe the best thing for that would have it as a specific use permit requirement where they would have to go to P&Z and come to y'all to get permission for it. Just because as a primary structure, you're going to be there amongst other homes. We have some areas that have a certain look and style of home that's predominant through them. The Oak Hollow, Fox Hollow area, we're looking at the areas down Colony Park. Those areas have homes of a certain manner that are larger. And so we would think there we may not want them in those areas specifically. But then there are other areas here in town where there's a lot of single family homes, but we have homes that are severely dilapidated, homes where manufactured homes were originally allowed, but it's not zoned for that now. So if they move out of a dilapidated home, now they got an empty lot, they may not want to build a brand new full-size home there. So this would kind of give an option for that as the primary structure.
So what you were just saying about a lot that may have had a manufactured home that's no longer allowed, a tiny home might be allowed there in place instead of a manufactured home?
Well, no, what I'm saying is if it's an area that was zoned as single family, and there was a manufactured home amongst single family site-built homes there, you wouldn't necessarily be able to put a manufactured home back there.
Right. But we might allow a tiny home?
Well, that's what I'm saying with a specific use permit. They can come and make their case.
And, okay, now walk us through, so we're all, I think I know, but specific use permit.
Right.
That means that you go and interview people who live within 200 feet of that place.
Right. Everybody within the lot within 200 feet would get a letter, similar to how we do with the zone change, specific use permit as far as the like the duplex use. And then we have some in the commercial areas. We have some that are not necessarily right for certain commercial areas, but they could be depending on the circumstances. And so that's why we have people get a specific use permit. Now, for an accessory use, meaning that we have a home already in existence, that's the main home. Right? That's a site-built home already there. But they say, hey, I've got this space in the backyard coming off the alleyway. I'd like to put a residential accessory use there. As an accessory use, meaning it's secondary to the primary. We already allow for like a mother-in-law's quarters, a tiny little apartment, that type of thing. as an accessory building use, accessory secondary use in single family. So with that one, I think we would allow it as, have them be allowed to place a tiny home there, like they would put a garage, a big storage building, something like that, because we still have the main home there that's not changing the look of the neighborhood. So with as an accessory use, we think yes, maybe as single family, manufactured home, and ag open outright. But if they're wanting to put it as a primary home, then you have the specific use component of it in a single family area.
Let me, just as a scenario for this discussion, the home that we had to condemn, I guess we condemned it, that had the Corvette parked in the.
Yes, sir. The one on Commerce.
Okay.
Or not Commerce.
Let's say that person XYZ came in and said, I'll buy that piece of junk property and tear it down if you'll allow me to put a tiny home there to recoup my expenses over the year, build a little rental property out of a tiny home.
Right.
So then you would go through that's a single family neighborhood. So you'd go through the process of getting approval from the residents around, and their thought would be to get that piece of junk cleaned up. Yeah, I'll be glad to approve that, because whatever you put in there is going to be a new tiny home structure and will look 100 times better what that is.
Right, it's making use of an existing property that doesn't have a building on it.
Yeah.
But somebody could tear down, I know 2 or 3 properties that anything you do is going to be an improvement. But whatever that is has to go to the people around the neighborhood. That's the important part of this.
Right.
Now, let's say that you send out 20 letters, and 5 of them come back and say, no, I don't want them to do this. That's really not a voting process. That's your board and this board that says yes or no.
Correct.
You
take that under advisement in making the decision of the particulars and the parameters of the case as a whole. Right. That's just letting you know how many people in the area that have responded. Is it a favorable or is it an unfavorable? And it changes, every instance that comes through P&Z, and to you guys, as y'all know, you may have one person that's just mad at the world and doesn't want it, but then you may have a plethora of the others that think, hey, that's great, we're making a use of that property. So, but it just gives the citizens a chance to voice their opinion of what's going on in their area. Okay.
And then 11.
Oh, yeah, and then as we continue on, if you go to number 11, this is where we're talking about tiny home parks. So the way we thought of doing it is doing it the same way we do our RV parks. Allow them in the same areas that an RV park is. And that way we wouldn't have to create brand new zoning. We wouldn't have to create specified miniature lot rules or anything. We wouldn't have to create a street. It would basically be somebody developing a piece of property with a private driveway. And he could then work with the people that have the tiny homes that either rent them, or if they want to buy some of that space off them, we can get something figured out with that in that type of application. And also, there's 2 types of tiny homes that are listed in here. One is a tiny home that's on a foundation, and the other one is abbreviated as a THOW, or a tiny home on wheels. We, in what we've crafted up here, is a tiny home on wheels would only be allowed in the parks, a la an RV. And I think a good thing to do is if we have somebody that wants to do an RV park and a tiny home mixed use, you can allow that there because they're basically treated as the same thing. So if it's somebody that doesn't necessarily want to have, RVs, but want to have some homes that they have out there that they want to rent out to people in addition to RVs, that's the way they can kind of get the biggest bang for their buck also.
If I have a manufactured home over behind Alsop's, I'm thinking there's like 5 or 6 of those, little horseshoe type deals.
Right.
If I wanted to buy that property from the owner today and tear all those out and put in tiny homes, would I be allowed to do that?
Well, what we did was, currently for RV parks, in our permitted use table, which is the table that says what's allowed where, it's kind of backwards because it says In ag open and light industrial, you have to get a specific use permit to put an RV park, but if you want to go anywhere up and down the mile, you just do it. And I think we need to change those to where ag open and light industrial and even heavy industrial maybe, if they want to buy some land and put an RV park out there, then I think we should allow that development. But for commercial use up and down, because our C2 zoning is basically all up and down Main. And so with that, we may not want to have a large space with an RV park necessarily. But in some instances, it might work depending on where it's going and what's around it. So I think maybe a specific use permit for that, update that in this ordinance. So where the permit table says you have to get an SUP for a park in the commercial down the mile. But if it's ag open or light industrial, come pull the permit, and then we'll get with you. You would have to do it like a commercial entity, and we'd have to get, where are you putting your
Well, I'm just asking, just trying to think about how these things will happen and how this grows in the future. Behind Allsup's is 5 trailer manufactured homes.
So let's take that property specifically.
No, that's what I was asking.
All right. So that one is currently zoned C2. That was all in existence prior to zoning being put in place. So with that one, they may have to come and apply for a rezone with a specific use to be able to change that use to a tiny home. So that's where that would come into play with that property. So yes, in theory you could, if you could get through P&Z and City Commission.
If we got the zoning changed to that piece of property to manufactured home, then it wouldn't require specific use, would it?
No, you could do it for that, but with manufactured home, if there's not another manufactured home around, it's that may turn into something where it could be considered spot zoning, which is not allowed in Texas. So we have to really look at the situation and the parameters of what they're looking at doing. I think that's already set out as lots and blocks anyway. It's a hypothetical that if done and looked at a certain way, it could be done, but it would have to go through y'all for approval, basically. So the opportunity's there. It's just having to, make sure that everything's spelled out to a way to where it isn't going to cause a problem later down the line.
I'm just thinking about some of these properties we have around that have manufactured homes on them and stuff, and those manufactured homes are 40 years, 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Their life expectancy may run in. Somebody may want to come in there and update to a different type of structure.
Right. And so if they want to do a tiny home with these, whether it's single family or multiple in a C2 RV park situation, could be done. They just have to go through P&Z and y'all.
They're going to go through the process.
Yes.
Any questions on that or comments further? Or are we good to draft an ordinance?
I don't feel like I know everything about this. I think it's coming. In my travels, everywhere I go, I'm seeing these tiny homes in neighborhoods, and they're doing the additions with some class. Everybody has a driveway. They have lights.
Well, this would require driveways, setbacks.
Yes.
Yeah, in this, they would have to follow all the same rules that like a manufactured home or a house would. So they'd have to have the same driveway requirements.
Foundation platforms.
Yeah.
Any construction codes that the city has, they're required to follow.
And then the standards for the people that are building these, that comes under this.
Under the Appendix Q is basically saying, for tiny homes specifically, all these same rules will follow except for what is changed here. So everything else that they're supposed to already be following for building a home,
Yes.
they do. But it's just they're allowed some exceptions because of the size difference for a tiny home. So that's why it still levels out saying this is the minimum height you have to have. This is the minimum size for a sleeping room, which is 7 by 10. This is a minimum size, this is what you have to do if there's a loft section. And it references back to the residential code, the plumbing code, that, for the other rules for what they're gonna build. And when we talk about this, one of the things that's in this is that if somebody's gonna build one or have one built elsewhere and brought in, before we can give them a permit, we have to see a set of plans that have enough detail to make sure that it's gonna conform with what we have adopted and what the state has as minimums, in order to make sure that it's not gonna be any different. Because one thing that a lot of people do, especially out in the county, is they'll buy a Hawk building, or they'll buy a Graceland building, and it's something that if you look at the plans for it, most of the ones I've seen on the very front page says not to be used as a residence. It's not engineered as such. So what the rules say in this is you have to give me plans showing how you are altering it to work under these rules that we have adopted.
Yes.
And then thereafter, once that's satisfied, I can check it off, and then they can move forward.
So this is just asking for approval to draft an ordinance.
Correct.
This isn't approval to actually make it happen.
Right, because
Yes,
there are so
so-
many.
This is to move forward, get a
Yes.
real plan.
With the ordinance, it's gonna be altering the permitted use table, it's gonna
Right.
be altering definitions, it's gonna be adding all these rules. So not only will y'all be looking at it, but city attorney's gonna be looking at this too, saying, oh, wait, there's something here you need to address, this doesn't, the rules don't allow for this. I mean, there's gonna be yet another set of eyes on these to make sure it works.
This is
So-
to move forward.
So I'm gonna make a motion here that's a little bit different than what it's worded here. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the draft proposal to generate the ordinance with one condition. I wanna see the ordinance 30 days before the first reading, so that we have a chance to review it, process it, and understand it before we go into a first reading.
Great plan.
I'll second that.
A motion from Tom and a second by Michael J. to approve the draft of this proposal to move forward, but we want to see a copy of this 30 days before it appears on the agenda.
So if we give that to y'all in December, then we would potentially be talking
We
January.
could put it
for
on the
first reading.
January,
Just make sure we're all on the same line.
put it on the January.
And just make sure we get the.
You
blessing
can have a
from-
copy of it in the January packet, the December packet for us to have,
The draft.
and then we can pull it out and save it and then talk about it and then
January. I
move
just-
forward.
I just don't wanna have a week to process something.
Oh,
that's
no, I
this
totally agree.
substantial.
No, I have no heartburn about that. I want you guys to know what you're approving and not have any heartburn later on. Because this is something that's gonna be big change for us, and I wanna make sure we do it right.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Number 9, discuss consideration of approving the purchase of a gooseneck trailer with funds from the wildlife mitigation grant. And you've already done that, as I understand?
Yes, so these two, 9 and 10, we'll talk about 9. This was a placeholder, so since we have to post an agenda 3 business days before the meeting now. This item has already been purchased. It came in under the $25,000 mark that I have to get commission approval, and these funds are wildfire mitigation funds that we're using. So this gooseneck trailer has been purchased today. We'll have to pick it up this week, and then same as agenda item 10, both of those go.
And we're using it for?
The wildfire mitigation to haul the skid steer, the tractor, once we get the tractor,
Yeah.
lawnmowers. The gooseneck will be more towards the skid steer and the tractor, and then the enclosed utility trailers, lawnmower, chainsaws, etc.
Good deal.
Those are already done, so we can skip 9 and 10. These been handled. Move to number 11, discuss consideration of approving resolution 2025-17, a resolution of the City of East Commission of Eastland, Texas, authorizing the submission of a community development block grant, mitigation resilient community program project application to the general land office, and authorizing the city manager to act as the city's executive officer and authorize a representative in all matters pertaining to the city participation in the community development and revitalization program.
Good job. Okay, so what this is this allows the city to apply for a $300,000 grant, no match, for the city to go through the process of creating a comprehensive plan. The GLO allows 30 months to complete the plan, so going through all the meetings and the reviews. We actually have it out for bid or RFPs right now. If the commission decides to do this, then we'll be one step ahead because we have to have the application back in by December 15th. And so we're kind of on a short timeline, but that's where we're at with it. When I went to TML, I learned about this, and so this is something that I'm bringing back in hopes that with, beautification, downtown revitalization, master park plans, reviewing zoning, different city ordinances and codes, that we can look at those and see if those are fits for the city and going through that. This does include the master park plans. That's something that we've talked about with the Lions Club and we talked about here as the city. This does involve and allow us to develop that master park plan and use that for Texas Parks and Wildlife grants and things of such.
Good.
$300,000 free money, pretty good deal.
Yeah. I make a motion to approve the resolution 2025-17.
I'll say.
Michael J. made a motion to approve resolution 2025-17, a second by Tom. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 12. Okay, let me read this, then I'll go ask a question. Discussing consideration of approving resolution 2025-18, a resolution of the City Commission of Eastland, Texas, authorizing the filing of a grant application with the West Texas Council of Governments for a regional solid waste grants program, authorizing official city manager to act on behalf of the City of Eastland in all matters relating to the application, and pledging that if a grant is received, the City of Eastland will, what is that word?
Comply, sorry.
With the grant requirements of this, comply with the grant requirements of the West Central Texas Council of Government, the City Commission of Environmental Quality, and my question that this says authorizing official city manager. Do we have an unofficial city manager?
No, but the title is the authorizing official of the grant, the city manager. City manager is the authorizing official.
Okay, I don't understand that then.
Sorry.
You got Compokey down.
Sorry, maybe I am.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-18.
Second.
Got a motion from Richard and a second from Michael J. to approve resolution 25-18. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Good job. City manager briefing.
Okay, so GLO, this is on the street work. Majority of the street work has been completed, but additional work requests are being submitted to GLO for approval to allow the contractors to complete necessary work. We've identified some drainage issues at the West Valley Street and South Walnut, and West Patterson and North Lamar. West Patterson, North Lamar is a storm drainage issue, and West Valley and South Walnut, after we finished the street on Valley, it's created an issue with water going onto Walnut Street and not draining properly. So currently we're in the process of working with GLO to submit a new performance statement or an updated performance statement showing that there's these issues, and hopefully having GLO approve that as we have additional monies needed to be used.
Who's paying for that little project?
Jill, it's in the grant. We have leftover monies that were not all used, and so that's what
Why
we're
the
requesting.
engineer don't catch it?
I don't know. It took 2 years to get the project even going. So if they didn't measure right, or if the grade changed, or any of that could have been an issue from, I don't know, I have an answer. At West Patterson Street, the original scope included replacement of a clogged storm drain lateral at the intersection of North Lamar. During the excavation, the main trunk line was not found where anticipated, and additional debris and root intrusion were discovered deeper within the line. Although partial repairs were made and a new lateral installed, the intersection continues to experience ponding during rain events. So we think it's further in that lateral. So this will allow us to do more work. This portion of the buyout project is still being processed. GLO is requesting updated tax information from the property owner since the original information was submitted in 2021. So I'm sorry, that was 4 years ago, Mayor. After the updated information is received, the environmental review will take place. We're still sitting, waiting for tax information on that.
For what? Again, this is 2018 when this started.
This was 21. 2018 was TWDB.
That's what, but
Oh, the project initially, probably.
this thing, yeah, and I mean, getting that started was a train wreck, and getting all that. I mean, we spent probably 2 years trying to get them to get organized and get that done.
They're still not.
And now, 4 years later,
We went through multiple different people that are like our liaison with GLO. We finally have a good one, and so she's working through some of the challenges, but
how many actual properties or people are we dealing with now?
1 property owner, 6 properties.
So it's just down to that one guy that's got the 6 properties. Okay. That ought to be easier to do. Thank goodness, so not 6 people.
No, not 6 separate people, but
No, that's one guy on the rental property. Get rid of it. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
that's okay. TWDB, Fambro, has completed approximately 37, or installed approximately 37 feet of pipe. They're working on a bore to the west under the creek. Once that's completed, they'll start going towards the cemetery or continue towards the cemetery. Downtown sidewalk repairs, this has been pushed back due to delays with weather and the timeline of other projects that they're working on in the county. Wildfire mitigation, this is just a general update. We've had several meetings over this past month with Langford, the grant management firm, to set up our GIS tracking system. This system will allow us to track areas that have been mitigated, areas to be completed, and ensure that we're meeting the grant requirements. An equipment update, we did receive the skid steer Thursday, and trucks are getting the beds put on those. So hopefully after Thanksgiving sometime we'll have the trucks. And the trailers, like I said, were ordered, so we're just pending pickup on those. Park Hill update, the Lions Club recently was notified that they were awarded the LCRA $50,000 grant for the playground equipment. The playground equipment's been installed and is open. This is a new addition to our park. Is phenomenal, and definitely a heartfelt thank you to the Lions Club and everyone that participated in making this a success. So all the volunteers, all the donors, everyone that took the time to make this happen, we really appreciate that. And then a ribbon cutting will be held November 19th at 11:15 a.m. at the park. Okay, so that's open to the public.
That's Wednesday, correct?
It is Wednesday, yes.
Okay.
And that is, and you have handouts in front of you. They say Public Works Department, Fire Department, and Police Department. What I had departments go back through and really think about what they completed in the last fiscal year. So these are just some things that, these are not everything. You can't list everything out. That would be impossible. But Public Works, this is just some highlights. They completed 1,386 work orders. Several feet of water and sewer line were replaced. We held a cleanup in April after the storm damage. In a month's time span, they installed 26 new sewer and water taps for the new housing development over off of Lynn Street. They assisted with the expansion of the Maverick Townhomes. TWDB 2018, the grant for the pump line funding was secured, and we started construction on that. GLO has continued with creek maintenance, tree improvements, and the buyout. Wildfire mitigation was awarded, and we begin implementing that. So that goes along with beautification and everything else that the city guides do. So these are just a few things. It's not a total representative list. So just know that they're busy and they do a lot. Fire department helped neighboring agencies with mutual aid calls, continue building relationships with neighboring agencies. They held an annual open house. They attended community events as they always do. Old Rip, football games, Charlie Kirk flag raising. TxDOT installed flashing lights for the fire department entering and exiting the station. We created and implemented an updated storm siren policy. They were awarded a grant from Texas Forest Service. They held a fire training academy. They completed station improvements. We hired Chief Brightman, and Chief Brightman recently established a mission and vision statement with core values. And so going forward for this new fiscal year, that's implemented, and he'll be going over some of that as we go through the year. Police Department, Chief Pitts always has to be an overachiever and give you a 3-page list. So, and he even timelined it out. They're fantastic there. Seabird Elementary, they talked about roles of police officer safety. October 24th, they had a community calendar put together benefiting the police department to raise funds. The Walmart's grand opening, police department with their Chief Pitts gave a speech. They participated in Boo of the Garden. They held a ceremony on why words matter and the seriousness of threats. Sergeant Allman and K-9 Buck conducted a sweep of the high school for narcotics. K-9 Buck visited and spoke with local Cub Scout troops. Sergeant Allman began his monthly first responder Bible study. Blazing Saddles held at Eastland PD. We had new officers sworn in. We transitioned from pepper guns to the taser. Throughout the entire year, several officers participated in the STEP grant program to help reduce the number of crashes in the city. Sergeant Allman put on several SFST classes throughout the year. Animal Shelter received a $50,000 donation. So these are just, I don't think this is everything on the list that they do, but these are just some items that you can see that the last fiscal year we kind of recapped in order to show the commission some of the things that we're doing by department and how busy we are and effective we are, and knowing that we love our community and we're here to serve and protect in any way possible. So that was kind of real fast, but we're gonna hope to continue this throughout the next fiscal year. I've asked the department heads to kind of keep up with what we're doing. Code enforcement, I think, has last month they recapped on some of their stuff on the properties, how many properties were tore down, and just cleaning up properties. And so we're going to try to compile that all together next year and have a better representative list. But we've been busy.
I'm exhausted.
That's a lot.
Got a question. Lieutenant McDade and Sergeant Allman became active shooter training instructors. What does that mean? What do they do with that?
It means they can teach other agencies and our agency active shooter response to schools and things like that.
Are they doing that? Are they getting to do that? Are they getting to use that?
Yes, we've taught several times in Breckenridge. We teach with DPS. It's kind of a code thing we're doing with them, and they're actually instructors.
We're working with DPS or we're not training them, but we're working with
We're training them. They're training us. We're doing. They're instructing alert just like they are. So you may have Trooper West and Sergeant Allman teaching that class together.
Cool. Great work. Hope we never need it.
No, we're ready if we do.
All right. What's next?
Code compliance.
We got code compliance.
Commissioners, I'm gonna go quick, just to save time, because I know Tim's gonna have a lot of stuff coming up next. You can see the report, for October, started with 78, ATV cases open, closed 46, left us with 50. You can see the total violations open and closed there. 2 junk vehicles, 9 citations issued, we had 18 annual notices. Total fines assessed 4,183. Had 1 service from jail time. That took care of 1,369. Fines dismissed 1,723. We did have 1 case abated by the city. This was the old, was it Liberty Baptist over there behind Allsup's? Mr. Hooper had pulled the permit to tear that down back in 2024, and it got knocked down, but never got cleaned up. So we had been working him for that. We finally got set up to do an abatement, and that was accomplished by the city. And the good thing is that on next month's report, it's going to show that the new owner of the property gave us a check for the $4,500 today. So our abatement cost was taken care of for that property, and it's clean and gonna be ready for use soon.
Right.
And, Maverick Town Hall expansion is still happening, still going strong over there.
We've been getting a list of properties. What happened to that list?
I don't think
There
it's
should
here.
have been.
I don't see it in
Did
here.
they not make
We don't
it? Okay.
Uh-uh. Can you,
I can give you this one real quick. You want me to make some copies?
yeah,
Yeah, I can make some copies, real quick and then have them for you.
please.
Other than that, that's all I have.
All right, any questions for Tony? Thank you, sir. Police Department.
Police department, for the month of October, we answered 403 calls for service, made 20 arrests, generated 49 case reports, had 7 agency assists, 1,120 business checks were conducted, we worked 15 traffic crashes, 7 domestic disturbances, we filed 21 cases with the district attorney's office, 0 juveniles, 30 open records requests were filled. On the traffic side of things, we wrote 150 citations, 334 warnings, for a total of 484 traffic contacts. On the animal control side of things, we answered 357 calls for service, 22 citations were issued, 29 warnings, 26 animals were impounded, 11 were adopted, 2 were quarantined. As you know, we lost Officer Buck to cancer, and he has been replaced with K9 Unit Doc. After Doc Holliday, he's kind of skinny, a little ugly, and he's real cocky, and we think his skill level is going to be really good, so we named him Doc Holliday. So Doc will be the name of the new K9 officer. And fired him, they're up and going. Ronnie's got him here, and he's working him, so we're excited about Doc. PD and the fire department did trick or treat in front of the fire department in October. It was great. We had our booth set up. I don't know how many kids we took care of, but we had a lot, a whole lot. We have two of our officers. Both of our new officers are off of FTO and out on their own, so we're excited about that.
Where did you get Doc from?
San Antonio, same place we got both.
Okay. Any questions for Chief Pitt?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good work. Chief Broughton.
Hey, Tim, you don't have one of these. That's pretty chart.
You look at that thing, he made that up.
You're making me look bad.
Good evening, for the month of October, the fire department had a little less than average call volume. Nonetheless, we had 4 grass fires, 41 medical assists, 3 motor vehicle accidents with injuries, 10 without injuries, 4 hazardous conditions, 2 public service calls, 4 dispatched and canceled en route, 2 smoke detectors activations, and then another activation with no fire. Just as notes, Fire Prevention Week was October 17th at Seabird Elementary. We adopted our mission, vision, and core values for the fire department. And we had our open house and meet and greet on Saturday, this past Saturday, just as a note. And I also included in this report, just as I thought it was interesting, kind of look at the data over the last 5 years for the fire department and how you can see the call volume has drastically changed.
Interesting.
Chief, can you share your mission and core values when you get time?
Sure.
Curious to see what that is. I'm sure they look great. Like to see.
Well, from my perspective, and just sort of have some thought processes behind it, I think that for an organization, it allows our staff to, when they're out there making decisions, if they're making it based on why our organization exists, they're going to make better decisions on a daily approach.
Absolutely.
Good. Good. Dispatch and canceled en route 4. Are you familiar with those?
So I don't know the exact cause.
Well, not that you got called, but you're comfortable with that, us being canceled on call?
I mean, yeah, usually it's typically like, it may be like a police officer's on scene, somebody's on scene and can confirm that there's nothing, so they turn us around.
Okay. Well, we've had an issue in the past, it's been 2 or 3 years, where we were getting canceled on calls before the people ever left. Had no idea what was going on scene, they were just canceling us. A little jealousy issue back, so be aware of that and know you're comfortable when we get canceled, that you're comfortable with that.
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions for Chief Bryden?
Thank
you, sir. Welcome to Eastland. Municipal Court.
She had 148 criminal cases, 41 city ordinances for a total of 189 filed. City revenue $20,869. State revenue $11,579. Ending $32,449. Any questions?
Yeah. Those negative numbers?
Yeah. So it should be this.
Negative.
Yeah.
Those at the bottom of those numbers. I watched that city revenue, state revenue thing, how it does for the previous year. Those should be negative numbers.
Previous year is 4,000 over. Previous year is 4,000 more than what we have this year. And then in your pocket is also Leslie's retirement reception invite. Just calling it out so that you can make your calendar cleared and come December 12th from 5 to 7.
Okay. Everybody got that on your calendar? Congratulations. We appreciate all you've done. 23 years. You started when you were a mere child, huh? Thank you for your service. We appreciate what you've done.
Terrible. And then the last thing is, you'll have in your packet a letter from
Yeah. Be sure and read that.
Kathy with the library. It's just a report back on the contributions that the city provides to the library and the expenses and how that those are used. And then there was also a thank you letter for the sidewalk renovation out of the historic district grant expenditures.
What else?
Nothing tonight.
Going once?
I move we adjourn.
Got a motion from Richard to adjourn.
Second that.
Second from Michael J. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you for this, Tony.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna get a new audit.